Nameco right there, Dustin right here. This is your power forward tiers and rankings. Getting pumped for that basketball season just around the corner. Love this time of year.
So do I, and we got our 150 cheat sheet on our website, fantasysmacktalk.com. Please watch all of our other videos on the website or on YouTube. And if you want one of these fancy shirts or you can get an FS t-shirt, go on to Third and Out, and you can do it by writing in the word third or the number third or the third kind of thing with the RD.
So violent.
I love it. It's great. It's great that they do it both ways, though.
You're so
Third
violent.
and Out.
You're so violent.
It's not violent. I was just showing where the shirt was. Go ahead. Can you please start us, boss? I apologize.
Tier 1, tier all by himself. Unibrow, Mr. Anthony Davis. I mean, you don't really need to say much about him. I mean, he's close to 25 points, 10 rebounds, over a steal, 2 blocks. I mean, if he stays healthy, he just fills you up across the board. You are going to have to use a first-round pick to get him, but it's not a bad thing to do.
If he stays healthy. Thanks last year, Mr. Davis. All right, tier 2. You know, gonna start with Draymond Green. We have him ranked 3rd overall in this position, and I've seen a lot of people want to downgrade him because of Kevin Durant. Out of all the people, he's probably gonna get the hurt least by Kevin Durant. Sure, the scoring might go down a little bit, 14 to 12 or something like that, but the reason you're drafting him is the triple-double threat, right? 7.5 assists, 9.5 boards, steal and a half, block and a half. All those numbers should stay pretty much flat, which is fantastic. Then I gotta talk about the zinger. You know, Knicks fans gotta be excited for this guy. All the hate on Phil for taking him seems like a long time ago because they're loving him now in New York, and for good reason. I mean, legit, this guy this year, I think he improves on his numbers. 17, 8 with a couple threes. I mean, he's a solid player.
He's pretty good out there. He's pretty good. Let's take a look at tier 3. Still some big names in this tier. Serge Ibaka. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what he does out there in Orlando. I mean, they're a young team. They are really going to need some people to step up, and he's one of the most veteran players on that team. And we know what he can do when he gets the minutes, and we know that he can score when he's asked to score. So, and you got to love the blocks. You know the blocks are going to be there. So we're still liking Ibaka. We could see a boost in his numbers this year. And then Derek Favors, just want to talk about him. You know, because when you look at the top 2 tiers, a lot of those guys average over a steal and over a block. And Favors is a guy that you can get just a little bit later that still does that for you. I mean, it's nice to get that steal out of your power forward and have a guy that gets you some blocks as well, and not necessarily relying purely on your centers to do that for you.
All right, tier 4, I'm going to start with Jabari Parker. And the thing that I like about Parker, a lot of pedigree, a lot of hype coming in. Obviously, had that injury, but prior. But here's the thing about him that I love about last year. After the break, 19 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. That's solid, and I'm telling you what, I love my Bullets, but man, I'm gonna like watching a lot of Milwaukee Bucks games. Young team, tall, lanky. We'll talk about Alphabet on our small forward video. The other guy I want to talk about real quick, Ryan Anderson. We had this guy as a sleeper, good reason. Mike D'Antoni system. Ryan Anderson could have a monster year, and he's gonna hit a ton of threes out of your power forward position that you gotta love.
Tier 5, I'm going to talk about 2 people. First one's Dirk. I mean, I don't normally like owning these older guys that kind of get on minutes limits, and you know, they're really just being very safe with them all year, but I ended up owning him last year, and I was very happy that I did. I mean, even though he was only playing about 30 minutes, he still gets close to a steal a game, close to a block a game, almost 2 threes a game. I mean, he's still filling it up. He's still Dirk. I'm not completely afraid to draft him again this year. And then Cantor out there with OKC. I mean, with Durant gone, everyone's going to have to score more. And Cantor can score. This guy can score when he's asked to. You're not going to get a lot of blocks in it. You're not going to get any assists. You're not going to get any steals. But he can get you some points and boards.
All right, tier 6, going to start off with Mirotic for the Chicago Bulls. And Taj Gibson's starting, but this guy, whenever he's on, he looks fantastic. He can do it all. He can drive. He's actually got great vision in terms of passing. But the real reason I like him in fantasy is those threes. He averaged 2 a game last year, and minutes could go up for him this year, so that number could also rise. And then Zach Randolph I want to talk about. The interesting about Randolph this year, they're saying he's not going to start. But we actually have him ranked over the supposed starter right now for the Grizz. And the reason why is I think Randolph is going to win. If he stays healthy, 6th man of the year. Because with that second unit, he is literally going to shoot the ball every single time. And I know literally means really. I think there's a chance he never, ever, ever passes it with the second unit because he will assume he's the best player.
Tier 7, I got a guy for you. This is a guy that we're reaching on a little bit, kind of a dart throw, but just looking at that Nets lineup, it's ugly out there. But Chris McCullough is interesting to us. I mean, he's kind of buried on the depth chart right now, but in terms of just what they're trying to do and who's in front of him at power forward with Scola and Booker, why not see what he can do? I mean, he might not get a ton of minutes at the very beginning of the season, but if he starts showing some flashes, which he has in the past, why not stick him in and see what he can do?
All right, Tier 8, going to talk about Ben Simmons. Sorry, Philly fans. The toughest thing with Ben Simmons, first of all, check to see if your league has an IR spot. If it does, it'd be great to move him to that because this is the tough part. How long is he out? The reports are so conflicting.
Yeah.
8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 20 weeks. It's all over the place.
But he should be back.
But he should be back, and he was the #1 overall pick for a reason. This guy's a stud when he gets back on the court and plays. So if you have an IR spot, he's worth drafting.
And if you don't have IR spots, they didn't allow it for a while because the NBA didn't have a system in place, and that's why. But now they do. So a lot of leagues, it's eligible to add an IR spot.
Yeah, so commish, put it in.
Put one in there. It's very key. It makes having an injured guy a lot less painful.
Absolutely.
So that's power forwards. Check out all our tiers and rankings. Get on our website. We will be updating the rankings throughout the preseason as stuff happens. Till next time, subscribe to our channel.
Thumbs up!
Yay!